Damn, homie. In high school, you was the man, homie.
I kind of saw how 50 was emerging as like the next big thing.
He had like 3 or 4 mixtapes with G-Unit, and they were selling like regular albums. Like there was a spot called Burkina, which is downtown. You sell all the mixtapes at. There was a bunch of mixtape vendors outside of like West 4, all these places across the city, Harlem, everywhere, where you would just go pick up music. Sometimes they would be like limited edition, bro. Like it was nuts. He kind of changed how mixtapes were always known as just playing a bunch of different people's different songs. DJs put a mixtape together. This was the first mixtape album where he was making original tracks just for something to put out there for free.
You know, he had the mixtape run and then he dropped Wanksta. That blew up. That was kind of like his radio anthem that helped him cross over from the mixtape thing.
I remember Mr. C, he would play his stuff all the time on 97. Brought him to Club Speed, which was, it's kind of like, is a generation after the Tunnel, and it was a little bit of a younger crowd. And dude, that night, the energy was nuts. You just knew that this guy was like gonna blow up crazy. So when the album dropped, he was already like popping, especially in New York City.
From there, it was just like blast off.
Sheesh, that album you said 20 years ago.
I just loved almost every record off of it immediately.
You played that album straight through. That was what everyone was bumping in the car. You heard it out of everybody's system in the whip.
That was a great time in my life. Probably one of the best times. I'll probably never duplicate it again. It's all downhill from there.
I became a teenager. I remember hearing in the club, Wanksta, 21 Questions, Many Men. I don't want to say that the commercial stuff, but it's like the hits that we know. Like, you just love them more now. I appreciate the album way more now that I'm older. Going back and listening to it, I'm like, wow, like this was all on this album.
And I was like, yo, this dude got shot 9 times. That was a big thing. And then he had beef with everyone. So there was some artists that he had beef with that I was like, man, I don't like that shit. But his music it just made you want to do something bad or be mad aggressive and shit.
People still love to hear any pretty much track from that album.
In the club,
Go, 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 shorty.
like you would run that record 5, 6, 7 times in a row. Bro, like you keep bringing it back. I remember when that came out, I had to find the bootleg because they didn't have the official yet.
Songs are getting sampled now. Many Men is a big record that's getting sampled today.
Have mercy on me, have mercy on my soul. Don't let my heart turn cold.
Have mercy on me, have mercy on my soul. Can't let my heart turn cold.
Heat is one of my favorite tracks from the album.
This deep cock and dump it, this drama really means nothing to me. I ride by and blow your brains out.
The way they utilize like gun sound effects into the production, I thought that was really dope, and that always went crazy in New York City clubs.
Poor Little Rich, that joint always rings off. That joint is hard. When you hear it on a loud system,
I let my watch talk for me, my whip talk for me, my gat talk for me. Bah, what up, homie?
Poor Little Rich, I think that's a record that doesn't get enough recognition. But that's also another song that you play in the club anywhere, and that shit is gonna go off.
When I just skimmed through the album, I remember 21 Questions was like one of my favorites.
I love you like a fat kid love cake. You know my style, I say anything to make you smile.
Just production-wise, because I like that sound. 50 Cent kind of started the singing, even though like Domino had done it, you know, years before. And Ahmad had done it like back in the day when I was young. People were always singing on like their tracks, but 50 Cent made it like hardcore singing, rapping, cool. Tracks that work now, If I Can't.
If I can't do it, homie, it can't be done.
Which was one of my favorite tracks back then, and it still works now. You go If I Can't back to back with In the Club, and people love that. You can do a whole 50 Cent set, and it still gets mad traction.
What is it, fucking 20 years old? Crazy. Where I think of records today, right? When I hear a record, and I try to see like, what record is gonna be around 20 years from now? That's still gonna go. It's not many.
You appreciate it more. Like, you know, it was a timeless piece of art because it still hits now. I wish I could go back in time, knowing what I know now, and go back in time real quick and experience it the way that they felt in that era.
Great album, stood the test of time, and I'm sure it'll last another 20 years, who knows?